What information is derived from my IP address? The question this time around at seniorgeek.net. And what is an IP? Check my segment on that particular subject. But I will go back to my analogy from that segment and remind you that every device on the big network that is the web has its own telephone number. Think of these devices as telephones. So let's say you're calling on your landline telephone, which is your home PC. It has a telephone number. And let's say you're calling or connecting to a website somewhere out there. Let's say facebook.com. We'll get to that in just a moment. It too has its own telephone number. Keep in mind, however, that sites like facebook.com, sites large and small, have access to caller ID. And they can derive quite a bit of information from the identification of your IP address. Okay? Now, you want to find out what your IP address is? Open a Google search window. Simply type IP address, and it will display it for you. There it is. Now, I've blurred out some of the digits here for privacy purposes, but here it is. It displays your public IP address. And that is the telephone number that shows up on caller ID systems when you connect to websites like Facebook. And I'm simply using Facebook as an example here. Practically every website on the web has access to what I'm calling caller ID here in my analogy. Okay? Now, I happen to know the IP address of Facebook.com, or at least the IP address that I use in my part of the world to have access to Facebook.com. Facebook is large and has many IP addresses, so think of them having many telephone numbers, but the one that I use, and I'll show you how to find out a website's IP address in another segment, is as follows. It's 31.13.71.36, so 31.13.71.36, and you can see it is familiar and rather is similar to the public IP address that shows up for your own purposes. Okay? Now, I'm consulting a website called IP Tracker. That's ip-tracker.org. There are many, many sites like these. If you're curious, you can do a search and find them. Now, what I've done is I've entered Facebook's IP address in this particular site, and here is a sampling of the information that this particular site has been able to glean from the IP address. And you'll see there's a lot of technical information, but you'll see that under host name, you see that it's clearly facebook.com. This is technical here, name servers, located in the United States. They even mentioned the capital of the United States. Thank you very much. And the server or the device which I'm connecting to, quote unquote, again, think of my telephone analogy, is based in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And it breaks down information about Ocean Springs. The name assigned to this company here happens to be Facebook Ireland Limited. Again, there are business reasons for this kind of thing, but it breaks down all this information. You even have latitude and longitude down near the bottom there to locate precisely where this server, this device where Facebook is operating, is located. Now, think of it in reverse. Facebook can do the same thing. They can derive the same information from your IP address because they're looking it up when you visit. Think of my caller ID analogy. So they know where you are in the world. They know more or less how you're connecting to where they are. Now, they don't know your name. They don't know your address necessarily. That gets into other finer details that we can discuss in another segment because your browser, the web browser you use, whether it's Chrome or Internet Explorer or whatever it is, sends information to. They can't necessarily show up at your next pool party, but they do derive quite a bit of information from IP addresses, and other sources. Okay? So we'll discuss more of that in other segments. Bye for now.